Alright, so I've had a lot of people ask about the cars in the background. So, one was the Lada, which is now can see that is a started series. And behind me is my whole 1989 Commodore drag car. So, this will be a brief history and a walk around on it, what's in it, what it does, and the history behind how I came across it, how I got it, and everything leading up to today. And then next episode, we're going to strip out behind the dashboard, shed some more weight out of it, and put a chromoly bar in to support the drag seat. Stay tuned. Here's all the history on Karla.
So don't just let me get it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gon' get it.
Yeah, I'm the one to get it, bruh. I swear to God I'll get it, bruh. Hey, I ain't never giving up. Yeah, I never give up. I got this, man, I got it. I will not quit, I'm on it. Never rock it. Got the block lit, I'm toxic. Spitting logic.
Alright, so before I get into the tour of the Commodore, or Karla, as everyone else knows it to be, just a little story on how she came about. So that Commodore is actually my very first car. I've had it for almost 19 years now. I remember when I was younger and I was going to get a car and my license and everything, me and Dad went car shopping, you know. And we found a little XL, a little boxy one, and it was purple on grey. They came in like a two-tone, and my old man was like, "Oh, look, you should get this one. You know, insurance is cheap. It's cheap to run. You know, it's a great little car, everything like that." And I looked at it and I thought, well, like what we're going to save on insurance is we're going to pay in hospital fees because I'm going to get my head kicked in all the time. You know, I didn't want that. It was purple for starters, you know, a little 4-cylinder girl's car. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. For my first car, I knew I wouldn't be able to afford to modify it, and I wanted something with a bit of kick, you know. So, we went around a few car yards, had a look, everything like that, and then we were out the back end of Bankstown, and we were looking at a Toyota Lexus. And the bloke at the dealership actually came up and said, "I've got something just out around the corner." So me and Dad followed this bloke for blocks. You know, we thought he was going to take us out back and flog us, but we ended up going to this house, and there was a red VL Commodore there, and this thing was immaculate. Like, and I mean immaculate. Like, to have it now would be worth a fortune. You know, it was red, had like a tan interior in it. It was absolutely beautiful, this thing. You know, but no. So Dad said we'd think about it. That was $4,000 back then. $4,000, had a used rego, everything. Same price as what that XL was. So we ended up going to a car yard in Minto, just up near the go-kart track there. And there was a white VN Commodore. And it was an S-Pack and everything like that, and I loved it, you know. And Dad wanted to keep looking around. So we went to another one down in Campbelltown, and there was a maroon van. And I said to Dad, I said, let's take it for a drive. And he's like, all right. So we took it for a drive, and I said, just go down this side street, you know. So Dad did, and then I said, just stop the car, and he stopped, and I said, now just put it flat to the board, and he did, and it kicked sideways, and there was just all this noise and smoke, and after that, I'm like, yeah, I need to have a VN Commodore. Like, a VN Commodore was it for me after that. I did not care. So we were looking around, everything like that, and I loved this white one, and that was $5,000. And I said to Dad, I said, I really want this white one, you know. And he's like, no, it's too much car, it's too big for you. You're only on your L's, all this sort of jazz. He goes, you know, we're just gonna get that XL, and you know, you'll be better off. So I gave up arguing, and I was doing a retail traineeship at Hardware House at the time, so I was riding my bike to and from work and everything. And I rode to work, and then Mum and Dad turned up when I was knocking off. And they're like, well, you know, come with us and all this sort of stuff. So I've grabbed my bike, wheeled it out of work, and Mum's like, well, you know, suppose you want to put your bike in my car. Mum had a little Hyundai Accent, you know. She goes, suppose you want to put your bike in the back of my car. And I'm like, well, where else am I going to put it? And then, like, they've pointed down the end of the car park, and down the end of the car park was a white VN Commodore. And I was ecstatic. Like, I even get upset now. But, like, I was so excited. I threw the bike, and I, like, legged it down there, you know, as quick as I could. And Dad had bought me a Street Commodores magazine, and that was on the passenger seat, you know, and all that. And then Dad drove me home in it, and we got to the end of my street, and Dad's like, you know, you want to have a bit of a go? And I'm like, yeah, alright. So I jumped in it, and I fucking just pinned it flat to the board, straight up the street, you know, all the fucking noise in the world, noise and smoke and everything, and ever since then I just loved it, you know. And yeah, and I've never looked back, you know, like, it's gone through some changes now. I've had that car for 19 years, going on 20 this year. And it was a V6 auto. I did put a shift kit in it, and then I destroyed the auto and destroyed the engine. So I bought a L67. So there's actually a bit of history behind all the modifications and and that. So I bought the car, drove around, put a shift kit in and everything like that, and then my girlfriend cheated on me, so I bought an LSD diff for it, an interior. It was out of an SS, so I put all that in it. And then I was working away, everything like that, and I got defected and all sorts of stuff. I got in trouble for a lot of street racing, so I lost my license for a while. And I was saving up some money because I wanted to go on holiday and all that. And then my girlfriend at that time cheated on me, so I bought the body kit for it with the money that I was saving. I thought, you know, no point going now, so I just took the holiday money and I bought a body kit for it, and all that. And then that was all good and well, and then my next girlfriend cheated on me, so I bought a supercharged V6 for it. And me and my mate Daniel Dooley at the time, we put that in with the help of me mate Adam and a couple others. So we got the supercharged V6 in it, and everything like that. And then it got defected again. I got in a bit more trouble street racing, everything like that. So I ended up having to buy another daily, which was a red wagon. And I only had that 2 weeks, and then the motor packed up in that. So we ended up taking the supercharged 6 out of Karla and putting it in my daily wagon. Me and Dad did it over a weekend, so I could go to work on Monday. So yeah, we quite literally, Karla sat there for years as just a bare shell. She ended up going down to Dad's down the south coast for years. So she sat in a car park for 3 years. Oh, she sat in my garage in Campbelltown for 4 years. Sat in Dad's parking lot for 3 years, and then she came back to Collavale and I did some work on her there, but she sat there for 2 years, and then I moved to Cooma, and then that's when things started getting heavy. My first daughter Olivia was on the way, and I thought, I'm going to have to get this car done, because once the kids come on, I won't be able to spend money on it. And I thought, let's do this. So I bought a donor car, which was a VEU, put the L98 in it, and we ran it, and that had the TR6060 behind it, and it ran a 14.7 before I snapped the shifter in it.
VN or VB Commodore? Up against Black Track Motorsports Typhoon.
That VN, that's the one from Puma.
Yeah, so boys, this VN Commodore comes all the way from Cowra.
Cowra?
Like we mentioned earlier before. And is a true street car. Drives this thing all the time. And I'm pretty confident. That's why he came out today. No, he didn't drive from Cowra. Cooma, sorry, not Cowra. Cooma. Even further away. So he's all the way from Cooma, so he wouldn't miss no chicks for the world. And he's running true street tyres on this thing. They're Mickey Thompson Sportsman, so there's no radial slick, there's no slip. It's like street tyre trim, man.
There you go.
Street outlaw store.
Rocking it.
Rocking it big time. He is, you should see him in the car, he's like,
Yeah, they're talking about me, man. This is the Cheech and Chong Anthony. Oh, son, look at that. That's what we're doing. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I'll tell you what, I think he wants to win that $1,000 for Bernie. But I'll tell you what, the tax is not so
They got a good road there, Melbourne.
I suppose, yeah, the people were saying the best this week happened to Bernie. Now, Danny has done the longest burn, maybe not the best. Bernie essentially, we got to play the job. But like, essentially, you got to.
You know what it's like down there.
It's all right, Dave. Yeah, fucking all right, Dave. Up to you, dude. Typhoon's taking it, eh?
They didn't show his face. That was how busted up he was.
Puma. Anthony, you did.
And then me and Glenn were talking, and we decided to go with an auto, so I put a turbo 400 behind it and some ET radials, and that took our time from a 14.7 down to, I think it's an 11.9 we did. And then we came back that year. So 2017 was the 14.7. 2018 was the 14.9. 14.8, 14.9. No, sorry, 11.9. Getting ahead of myself. And then last year we did a 1058 at 121 because we decided to put a turbo on it. So, yeah, I bit the bullet. I spent a good 12 grand, and I got manifolds, everything like that. I just did it, and then we went, yeah. So we did a 14.9, and then down to an 11.8, and then yeah, down to a 10.58 at 120 mile, and then the box destroyed itself last year. So quite literally, I've just spent another $4,000, got the box rebuilt. We've shed more weight out of it this time. It's before Grudge Kings, which is in 2 months' time from this video, July 3rd. It's going down for a health checkup, a bit of a spruik up on the tune. We're going to try and get the bottom end of the tune sorted a bit, get it so it's a little bit more agile off the line, so we can try and chase a 9. So I'm going for a 9-second run this year. So yeah, that's a bit of history on her. She was basically built on heartache and anger. She was built to be destroyed. Quite an emotional time getting it. I've had it for 20 years. It's probably been one of the most solid things in my life. Or probably the most solid thing in my life. So it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, let's put it that way. So yeah, I'll show you the tour now and all through it and what it has and what it doesn't have and what the game plan is, because in the next video I'm actually going to take a bit more weight out of it, because the heater core and the heater box and AC box and everything's still in it. Then I'm going to put a bar of chromoly in to support the back seat, to support the back of the driver's seat. So because IHRA requires the seat to have bracing behind it, and Karla doesn't have a roll cage yet, so we'll probably get in trouble for that. But yeah, that's just a 10-minute history on Karla and how she got to where she is. Basically just cheating girlfriends. Right, here's the tour. Alright, so here's Karla. This is the walkthrough for it. So it's a 1989 Commodore. It's got a Group A VR race front on it. It's got a Alpha Motorsports reverse cowl, and that's 4-inch, which is the maximum I could go for road registration, because it is road registered. It's got fiberglass guards that have been fastened to the front bar, so the whole clip is all one piece. It's got Convo Pros. They're standard 15 Commodore size in the front, with a 295 ET radial in the rear. And it's Group A, VN Group A side skirts and rear bar, along with an Alpha Motorsports fiberglass boot lid. Underneath is a 9-inch with Viking coilover suspension, 4-link rear end, everything like that, ready to boogie. And in the boot is a 50-litre fuel cell with a Dash 12 fuel line. It's going to twin Bosch 044 pumps, and then it runs a Dash 12 line all the way to the engine, to where it splits into 2 Dash 10s and goes to the fuel rails. Inside is even more of less. So inside I've got a B&M Pro ratchet, an eBoost 2 controller, tacho, Kirky aluminium non-adjustable seat, and a OMP racing wheel. There's nothing else inside the interior. It's all pretty basic. We just want to go fast. Got a 5-point harness, and next episode I'll be putting a bar in between all this to support the back of the seat, because it still moves a little bit. So and now the best to last. So Karla's armed with an L98. It's stock bottom end, stock block. It's got a bigger camshaft, lifters, rockers, push rods. So it's got a whole new valve train, double valve springs, everything like that. So the top end's supported. We've got a 8 litre oil catch can followed by a 4 litre overflow tank, and she's got a Pro Boost GT42 turbo on there and a 60mm Powergate wastegate, Turbo Smart. And at the moment she's making 495 rear wheel kilowatts, which I think is just under 600 horse. But before Grudge Kings it'll go down for a health check and everything like that. I've got the MSD 2-step controller set to 4000 RPM. Other than that, everything is pretty much stock intake. It's got bigger injectors, stock coil plugs, stock leads, everything like that. It's just pretty much just bolt-ons, and yeah, I make just under 600 horse at the engine, or 495 kilowatts at the wheels, whatever that is. So you Americans will just have to try and figure that out yourself. So I'll start it up, let it run, if it'll run. It's been sitting a little bit, so. So there you have it. I have had a few people ask me how I got the name Karla, and back in high school I had a crush on a girl named Karla, and I wanted something to eventuate of it, but it never did. So once I left school, this was my first car and I fell in love with it. And then all my mates actually named it and said, well, why don't you name it Karla, and then that way you can say you always got her. So it just sort of stuck after that, and that was 2001 when I left school. So it's now 2021, and 20 years have been called Karla. So that's it, that's the walk around, that's what it has. So hopefully this year we'll go for a 9-second run and call it even. And then after that we'll see what happens, see what the budget does. Try and get a cage or something in it and see where we go from there. But next episode I'll be pulling the injectors out of this so they can go for a health check. I'll be welding a bar of chrome ollie in the back so we can get that seat solid so it meets IHRA requirements, and then we'll go racing. And that'll be us. Alright? So that'll do it for this episode, and we'll see you next one.